I have shown it as 3 units, 4, 5, and 6. But actually, as per your JNTU syllabus, it is only 4 and 5. So that doesn't matter. So this units 4 and 5, it deals with the intellectual property rights. So this is the syllabus I have written here for unit 4. So nature of intellectual property, and what are they? Patents, designs, trademarks, and copyrights. And what is the process of patenting? And what are the developments in the technological research, innovation, and patenting and development? Followed by international scenario and international cooperation on intellectual property, as well as the procedures for grant of patents, patenting under Patent Act. So let us first, now this particular subject is completely descriptive, and in fact, there is nothing much to in here. What is required is, I have to just initiate you to the subject, and self-reading itself will be sufficient. But since the introduction of the topics are required for you, and a little explanation here and there is required, so therefore, my lecture will be totally displaying the, somebody has come, let me see. Okay. So therefore, I will be just projecting these slides, and you can go through them, and here and there I may be explaining something which appears to be which needs to be explained. So before we proceed to understand about the intellectual property, we should be able to answer these questions. So if we are able to get answers for these questions, half of the knowledge you are sure that you understood. What is meant by intellectual property and what is meant by IPR? So if you understand the first question, then automatically that R, the tag R, indicates that it is right, intellectual property right. And once it is said that it is a right, then the question comes, who will accord it or who will sanction these rights? And if you get an answer for that, then the immediate question you pose is, what are the benefits if at all one gets these rights, if one gets the acquisition of these rights? And on the other hand, also one will question, what is the consequence if these rights are violated by any other person? Then are there any safeguards if the rights are crossed by another individual? What are the other related protections for the intellectual property? Are these rights restricted to a single nation, or are they valid globally? So we'll try to get answers for some of these questions. What is meant by intellectual property? See, property is the one thing which is possessed by any one individual. It may be an asset. Normally, if you have a land, a piece of land, it is your property. Or if you have a house, it is your property. Or if you have gold ornaments, those ornaments are your property. So here, the intellectual property means it is not the physically acquiring goods, but it is a property that belongs to the mind and brain. So IP is the individual's property, which is not in the form of money or land or ornaments or in any other form, but is in the form of an idea or through skill or device developed or designed or a design made or a drawing drawn or a sculpture or an artistic work or a musical tune or a symbol or a brand name or an image or a picture or a logo or an image claimed by any individual. So any of these things, if one individual claims that they are the products or they are the outcome of their talent, so then that becomes his or her intellectual property. Now here, intellectual property can also be belong to not a single individual, but to a group of people. There may be a group of people who might have developed some product. So therefore, that becomes their intellectual property. If the above mentioned brain cells are of your own thoughts and are being made known to public for the first time by yourself, either individually or by a group, then that item is designated as your intellectual property. Suppose you have written a program to solve something. Then if such a program is not written by anyone, then that program, if you claim for the first time, if you publish and establish that it is your brainchild, then it becomes your intellectual property and nobody can use that one without your permission. So that is how the software are developed. So they have developed many software and then they are got patents and they will only allow those people whom they wish, either by charity or maybe by collecting certain money. That is a secondary thing. But anyhow, for using that particular software, you need their permission. How you get their permission is a different thing. Either commercially you can get or through understanding. So IP is an intangible. See, this is the definition. Intangible. Tangible means which can be counted. Suppose there is a flood. So due to that flood, so many buildings got collapsed. And some agricultural product is lost. So then what you can do is, you can calculate what is your loss in monetary terms. Either loss of agricultural product or loss of buildings or any other things. So you can find out the financial loss. But suppose there are certain calamities like losing a family member. So you cannot count on them in monetary terms. So that is what is called as an intangible loss. See, due to an accident, suppose a person loses his legs, then it is an intangible loss. You cannot count on monetary basis. So such a thing, that is the meaning of intangible word. Now IP also includes other types of rights such as trade secrets, publicity rights, moral rights, and rights against unfair competition. So these are some of the areas which come under the intellectual property. Now, artistic works like music, literature, even some words, phrases, symbols, designs, etc., can also be claimed as an intellectual property. Suppose if you consider the word abracadabra, which is used by some magician. So he has used that word for the first time, and it appears to be catchy word for all musicians. So naturally, what he can say that that particular word is generated by me, so that is my intellectual property, and you cannot use it. So like that, if you consider say certain products like Coke or Thumbs Up or any other cool drinks, see, there will be a formula for the preparation of that particular drink. So that formula is monopoly of that particular company. So it is a trade secret. What is the combination of the ingredients? What is the proportions? In what proportions these ingredients are to be mixed and maybe fermented or maybe heated or maybe kept under cold conditions, something we do not know, we cannot say. So that particular thing is a secret. It is a trade secret. So he won't reveal to others. Only thing is he will allow someone to use that product or that powder. He can prepare that powder and give it to them. So they can only use it, but not generate that. If they suppose somehow get some clue and creates that powder in their laboratory or in their own factory, and if used, then the original person can claim damage. So being intangible in nature, IP cannot be exactly quantified in tangible, that is monetary terms, as against conventional or traditional property or asset. Now, the World Intellectual Property Organization has been started, and in Stockholm on July 14th, 1967, they have given the definition for IP, and they identified what particular things come under the intellectual property domain. So intellectual property shall include rights relating to, this is what July 14th Convention, Stockholm Convention, 1967 has prescribed. It being a worldwide organization, it is acceptable throughout the world. So all literary, artistic and scientific works, performances or performing artists, phonograms and broadcasts. Suppose I give a speech. So if my speech is attractive, people may follow that, may use it either as a whole or as a part. Now, if I find that they have used this speech for some other purpose, I can claim a damage because it is the breach of intellectual property right. So, therefore, those broadcasts and speeches also come under the IP. Then inventions in all fields of human endeavor and scientific discoveries. So this is where we come across all the scientists and engineers. Then industrial designs. Some industrial designs are some equipment they are fabricated to perform certain action activity. They also come under intellectual property. Trademarks, service marks, commercial names, designations, everything. So there will be a protection against unfair competition. And all other rights resulting from intellectual activity in the industrial, scientific and literary artistic fields. Now, this is a property. IP is indivisible. That means it cannot be split among individuals, although a group possesses the right on that. Now, suppose a group of people uh, are responsible for generation of a particular software or a particular idea or development of an equipment. So they cannot say that the development of a gear in that equipment is his property, or the development of a vibrating device in an equipment is his property. The equipment or the instrument will be working as a whole. So that instrument as a whole will have is considered as an intellectual property developed by a group of people, suppose. Then they will have right on it jointly. Now they can have an understanding. That is a separate thing. See, if certain item, whether it is an idea or a physical equipment, so it is claimed as an intellectual property by a group of people. How the assets coming out of that are utilized, it is in between them. They can have an agreement written, a written agreement written, but that need not be considered by others, or that is immaterial for others. So investments cannot be made on this property to enhance its value, unlike in the case of traditional property of land, buildings, or another assets. You cannot bet on it. You cannot say that its worth is increasing or its worth is decreasing. So nothing can be said like that. If the above mentioned are the brainchilds of your own thoughts and are being made to public for the first time by yourself, this of course, it's a repetition of the paragraph. IP insists on some account of novelty or originality to gain protection. Now here again, each and every idea cannot be considered to have an intellectual property or cannot be considered as an intellectual property. There must be certain novelty, certain newness, and it must be useful for the public or the society or the industry. So only in that case you can claim that it is an intellectual property. So the our agency which grants permission or right of the intellectual property will go through it, and then when once they ascertain that it is a useful one to the public or to the industry, then only they will accord permission for permission to register under the Intellectual Property Act. IP is duration specific. Now, suppose I got an idea and that idea is agreed to be a novel idea. So then I will apply for patent and patent will be issued. Now, issuing of patent does not mean that it is for an infinite time. They will prescribe, or the individual governments of different regions and different states or different nations, they prescribe for how much period this property can be identified as an intellectual property by the individual who claims it for the first time. So it is not a lifelong permission. IPRs are like any other right of property or asset. These rights allow the owner to solely enjoy the benefits that can be derived out of the ownership of such entity. Now, how they gain benefits, financial benefits out of their product is a separate issue. See, they can say that if suppose this idea or if this software is used, the person who is using this idea or software have to pay something or something like that. So that all depends upon the developer's choice. IPR gives them protection as well as helping them exploit and control their IP. The exclusive right granted by the state to prevent others from using or manufacturing or distributing inventions, processes, applications, new and original designs, trademarks, new plant varieties, databases, and artistic literary works. So these are granted for inventions. I mean, they will prevent others from using or manufacturing or distributing those particular inventions or those particular processes or those particular applications or designs. So like that. Now such a person is known as rights owner or rights holder. So this last two are just a repetition, cut and paste. Now, though there is the intellectual property is considered as intangible, they will have financial incentives because by using that intellectual property or that particular idea or that particular secret, he or she can generate finances. IPR are justified when there is investment on the creation of the entity or has a risk is involved. So the governmental organization will accord right to gain royalty in the form, collect money in the form of royalty if someone uses that particular idea or property, intellectual property. Now, when it is allowed, when the individuals who have developed that particular thing, spending certain money, so investing something for generation of that idea. So therefore, investment or if there is a risk, so one person might have developed a particular thing, risking his life or risking his health, that also is considered and permission is accorded to him to commercialize it. IPRs help boost the financial and social status of individuals or group, and also enable modernization of the nation along with the catalyzing the economic development of the country. So this point is very clear. They encourage innovators and efforts for new inventions. See, if a person develops certain idea and he is accorded permission to get some money out of it, so that will be a motivation for others to carry out such activities and obtain intellectual properties rights. It enriches the cultural values and protects historical heritage of an area or of a region or of a nation. IPR protects against piracy and counterfeiting, helps maintaining balance between incentives for future production and preservation of the public domain. So this is all explanation about IP. Now, IPR has become an issue of worldwide and serious matter of discussion with the formation of what is known as GATT, General Agreement on Trade Treaty, actually that is GATT, GATT, trade-related aspects of intellectual property rights, that is abbreviated as TRIPS, General Agreement on Trade-related aspects of intellectual property rights, TRIPS, under Uruguay Round Agreement of the General Agreement of Tariffs and Trade. That tariffs and trades, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trades, GATT. GATT stands for General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. So, this is now known as World Trade Organization. So, this is formed 1947, October 30th. So, with this starting of organization, World Trade Organization, now IPR has become an issue worldwide. Under IPR, the value of the ideas are protected. Overall protection is not provided through a single law. Difference between patent law and copyright law. Now, what is the difference between a patent law and copyright law? We'll try to understand. Patent law covers the right to manufacture, distribute, whereas copyright law covers the right of distribution and publication. So, patent law will prevent others from manufacturing the one which has received a patent law by someone earlier. Suppose if I have invented an equipment to pick up all the oil which is floating in a sea, which comes from the ships. Normally, ships will throw their waste oils on the ocean surface, and it amounts to a huge quantity. And that causes a lot of pollution, marine pollution, especially near the harbors. Now, in fact, that is a very serious thought or serious aspect for researchers, how best we can remove that oil. So, a lot of research has been done, equipment have been developed. So, if such an idea or such an equipment is generated or manufactured, so no other company can do it using the same technique. Using some other technique they may. Suppose I have used some escalator type of device to draw the oil. So that escalator type of concept cannot be used by someone. They can use some other idea. Perhaps they can use a vacuum cleaner type idea. So different things will be there. Different concepts may be used for the same purpose. But same concept, using the same concept, a similar equipment cannot be produced. So it is against the intellectual property. Now let us go into the details of various IPRs, types of IPRs. In India, two major types of IPR are recognized and are in force. Protection through law is made for industrial property, and similarly, copyrights and related rights provide ownership for ideas and other such properties. So therefore, the intellectual property is divided into two aspects. One is an industrial property, and the second, all other things come under the second category. So, in this, there are so many other classification or divisions. So, industrial division, design, patent, trademarks and service marks, trade secrets, geographical indicators. We will discuss about them. Layout design, plant varieties, food products. All of them come under intellectual properties. So the same thing I have shown in the form of a diagram, and here I have given the list. So in this list, some other things which are not included here. Some of them which are not included here are added there. So they are basically these things: plant varieties, design of integrated chips, software, domain names. So these are the additional things that appear here. Just 5 minutes. I will be back within 5 minutes. this IPR. In that, as I told, industrial designs and the other things come under. So let us see one after the other. Industrial design, what does it mean? It is a design dealing with features, shapes, patterns, etc. applied to an industrial process, either manual or mechanical. So, if one has developed a design, not necessarily an equipment, but if a design is developed for manufacturing or fabricating an equipment, so that design also can be, will be considered under IPR. So, based on that design, if somebody manufactures it, first that person has to get approval from the person who has developed the design. That means he has to first get the clearance of the intellectual property right holder of the design. Then he can use it and manufacture the equipment. After manufacturing this equipment, that equipment will now become his intellectual property. Now, the person who has developed the design, he cannot object for the manufacturer getting an intellectual property on the equipment, because there are two things here. One is the design, the other is the equipment. So as far as the design is concerned, no doubt, design is his individual property. And all said and done, that property or that right, he has accorded to the person who wanted to develop the equipment. So therefore, that is the difference. Industrial design right, and then manufacturing right. Then the distribution right. So that is a separate thing. Common utility items does not qualify for IPR. Any specialty provision which enhances its value, if implemented or embossed, then the same gets qualified for IPR. Under Design Act, and the individual or the firm can use this symbol, registered with the registration number. So, normally, each and every item cannot get that registration mark, because common utility items, for example, a pen or a vessel or anything, or a paper, notepad. So anything, if it's a common property, common nature, it will not get qualification for under IPR. There must be something special. Like, for example, I had developed a notebook and a pen. Suppose I take a note on that notebook with using that pen. So I use such an ink in it that when I write it, it will be legible, and after some time, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours, the entire thing vanishes and the paper will become as plain as original and it can be reused. So, suppose an item I have invented, that will definitely receive an intellectual property. It is an intellectual property item, because normal pen and paper, anybody can do it. This reusable, it gets IPR under two broad areas. One is recycling, That means waste reduction. You see, if you take ordinary notebook, the papers and the pens which you use, they become waste after some time. So have to be thrown. So therefore, they add to the pollution, contamination. Whereas what happens here, it can be reused. So there is no question of wastage, no question of environmental pollution. So such a thing is reduces the effort of the individual, because once he notes it, he can take it back to his house or his office or his workplace, and then preserve it on electronic media. So that is the advantage. So such things receive the such items receive the patent rights. So the patents monopoly right under granted to a person who invented a new product or process of making an article. Just now I told. Protection granted for 20 years under Indian Patents Act. So this is where I said it cannot be perennial. It has a certain time limit, but it can be renewed after the expiry of the act, that time. So to file for patent, make the invention public. So first, before you want to get patent, you have to make that invention public. So you have to publicize, and applicable only to a country. Inventors working for a company cannot get patent for the product invented as a part of their job or assignment. Now, if you are working in a government or a private organization, and as a part of your duty, you have developed a product, so then that product goes to the company or the organization in which you are working. So you cannot claim individually. A single product can have many patents with respect to its composition, process, and product, etc. This is what I told earlier. Design. Suppose an equipment is developed using a new design and then new concept and new component parts functioning in a different way. So like that can be disintegrated. That equipment can be disintegrated into some series of activities, and if each and every such activity is a novel one, the intellectual rights can be, property rights can be claimed separately for the same integrated one. Then trademarks. This is registration. Then trademarks. Now a word can be a trademark. A name can be a trademark. A brand can be or a symbol or a label, logo, etc. So the objective is creation of unique identity for the product. It can be registered and then indicated by a trademark, TMR. So as per our law, it is 7 years and renewable after expiry. So it is governed by Trade and Merchandise Marks Act 1958, and it came to force on 25th November 59. Now the trade secrets, any intellectual work or product used for business purpose, which can be classified as belonging to that business, provided that it is not based on information available in public domain. Now, people are doing a lot of research, and while doing that research, they access certain information. It is always available in the public domain. And using that information if I develop a new thing, it is only a reproduction of an existing information or existing idea. So such a thing, such a research will not be normally accepted by the research community. Similarly, the trade secrets also come under like this. Any work or product used for business, which can be classified as belonging to that business, provided it is not based on the information already available in the public domain. Then, geographical indications. Now we will discuss about these things a little later in detail. Huh? I'm back. Shall I continue? Indications. Geographical indications are certain items which are identified with a particular locality. To give a very simple and well-known example is your Kotai Kaja. Kotai Kaja is Kakinada. So nobody can say that this is Kotai Kaja. Of course, I do not know whether Kotai Kaja has got the trademark or registered trademark or not, but it is a geographical indication. Sholapur chappals, Darjeeling tea, Kanjivaram sarees. So like that, there are certain items. They are identified with a geographical area. So that is used to identify the natural or manufactured product which belongs to that particular geographical location. So the objective is to associate the product with a geographical location that adds value. So you can have a saree which is quite similar to Kanjivaram saree, but you cannot say that it is Kanjivaram saree. So that Kanjivaram saree itself adds that value to that product. So therefore, such things are called as geographical indications. Application for registration under this category can be made by an association of persons, organizations, or by the producers. So an individual can apply, or a group of people can apply on behalf of a particular organization or a particular locality, or an association. Then copyright. Copyright, it is a negative right that prevents others of the benefits of individuals' work or labor or skill. A negative right means a right which is only for him to either allow others to use it, or can close it, or can destroy it, or can make it general public. So the whole proprietary of that particular item or work, it is vested with him. So he has got the sole right. exclusive legal right to reproduce an original work. So, if he has got a negative right for a particular thing, equipment, so he can produce any number of equipments based on that idea. So it prevents others from preparing derivative works based on the original work. So it may be possible, but through re-engineering, to produce a similar thing by someone else. So that is also not allowed. If that particular original one gets copyright, a negative right, then reproduction through re-engineering or reverse engineering is also not allowed. Not allowing to perform or display the work in case of dramatic, music, choreographic, and sculptural works. Suppose I have written a play, and I have got copyright. Then nobody else can stage that play without getting the permission of the copyright holder. So it will not allow performance. Prevents copying of only expression. So if certain statements are made, and if those statements get popularity, one can say that it is my statement, and this particular statement which gives you a motivation cannot be used by anyone. So that also comes under your copyright law. Now we will discuss more about these things. It is a repetition of what I have displayed there. Now we will proceed to the next thing. I think now we can that is the reason why I have one minute. File, so it is not proceeding further. Part of it I will be able to complete. So let us discuss about the patent laws. Actually, the original Patent Act law was initiated in 1970 and it was amended in 2006. And in Government of India, the relevant ministry is Department of Industrial Policy, Policy Promotion, which is called as DIPP, which comes under the Ministry of Promotion Industry. So a patent is a legal right that confers monopoly to a person for his or her invention. So what is the criteria for obtaining a patent? Now this is very, very important for all of you, because tomorrow you may produce a new thing, maybe a paper, or maybe you may publish a paper, or you may design an idea or develop an equipment or a process. So it must be a new product or a process that did not previously exist. It must offer a new technical improvement, as simple changes to a previously known technique cannot be patented. The proposed invention must be useful. Patent cannot be granted for inventions that can only be used for an illegal or immoral purposes. Once a product or process is patented, it cannot be commercially produced, distributed, used, or sold without the consent of the patent owner. So, the patent owner will have all the rights. India grants patent rights on a first to apply basis. That means, suppose same idea two people have come forward. So whosoever applies first, for his case will be considered first. India grants permission, patent rights on first to apply basis. Has anybody come? See, this sort of interference is not good. So the application for a patent can be made either by the inventor or the assignee. That means suppose I am the inventor. I myself can apply, or on my behalf, somebody can apply, or a legal representative of mine or my firm, he can also apply. So patent application may also be made jointly by two or more corporations as assignees. It all depends upon the ideas that have been contributed by individuals or organizations. A foreign national resident can also apply and obtain a patent in India. So that is also allowed. What is the procedure? Patent registration procedure. File the patent application and get it numbered. So the first thing is you have to apply and get an identification number. Request for publication by filling a form. Now what you have to do is, before you get the patent, you have to publicize it. So that means you have to make it known to the public. So for that there is a form. So that form you have to fill. If the request is not made, the patent specification will be published in the official journal after 18 months from the application date. Suppose you are not applied, then the government organization itself will publicize it, but it will wait for 18 months. So if you yourself does it, then it will be immediate. Otherwise, you have to wait for 1.5 years from the application date. On the other hand, by making request, the patent specification can be published within 1 month from filing the form. So that is the advantage. Request for examination within 48 months from the date of filing the patent application. So you have filed an application and the granting organization will come and inspect it. So therefore, for that inspection, you have to make again a form, fill up a form within 48 months. That means the application's life is for 4 years. So within those 4 years, on it, you can apply for inspection. But if somebody else does the similar one and gets the item or product publicized and got inspected, then there is no point in you for asking that. So therefore, though there is a time, it is always better for any person or industry or organization to notify it in the public and get it inspected by the inspecting agency and get clearance. Within 12 to 24 months of filing a request for examination, the first examination report is issued. So within 1 to 2 years, they will come, inspect, and then they will use the inspection report. This report may raise substantive and procedural objections regarding the patent. See, if the inspection committee, if it finds certain doubts, so if it makes certain queries, they can do so. And they may raise certain procedural objections. If objections are raised, the patent application must comply with the statement of objections within 6 months from the date of the report. So if there are no objections, then there is no problem. If there are any objections, then you have to give a compliance statement. objection wise. If the official objections are made in due period, the patent is granted and presented for opposition. So they will present the patent, but then what they do is they will invite anyone to oppose it. So the patent is open for third party opposition, if any, for a period of 1 year from the date of advertisement. So they will wait for 1 year. If no objections are received within that 1 year, then the patent is granted and it will be valid for 20 years and requires a renewal every year from the third year of the date of application. So after 20 years, then you have to renew it every year. So these are some of the types of patents. I think, okay, I'll stop here. We'll consider this next week. I combined everything in this particular file. That is why it is giving problems. I have prepared the material, and next week I will give you the entire material for all the